Hello everybody, this is GeneralJannis, and today in Chaos Tactics I'm looking at the meta-analysis of the game for 40k Arks of Omen for the month of March, and we see the world leaders entering the fray and then some shifts in the meta. So with no further ado, let's get started. So today, the 4th of April, I'm looking, of course, with interest at Warhammer community and looking at the data sheets for the Terminators and the Intercessors and some of the new rules that Warhammer community is previewing. So I will make a video next about this, but in this video, we'll be looking at the meta status analysis from Arks of Omen, looking at, as always, getting the source data from 40k stats, awesome site, analyzing the faction win rates, and then looking at for the various chaos factions some top or winning, let's say, tournament lists for Death Guard, Thousand Sons, Chaos Knights, Chaos Space Marines, Chaos Demons, and now also World Eaters. Also looking what is shaking up in the top enemy threatening lists. You can see here Lord Solar and the Kasrkin for the Astra Militarum. But let's start by looking at the faction win rates. So here we have the faction win rates for Arks of Omen, the games of from the month of March. We have over 14,000 games from grand tournaments with at least 5 rounds, and we see overall we have seen not so good balance as we had in Nephilim. There is, let's say, a lot of factions that are struggling below the 40% mark or quite below the 45% win rate. And conversely, we also have some factions that are, let's say, above 55%. And we see the Iron Hands topping the lists by 60% real win rate. Then we have the Chaos Demons, and then we have Astra Militarum, Imperial Guard, Dark Angels, and Custodes at the top. And of course, Imperial Guard, one of the largest armies right now. 7% of all the lists in this data are 2,000, let's say, out of the 7% of all the lists are Astra Militarum in these tournaments. In the table below, you can see the stats for the Chaos factions. So Chaos Demons are the best Chaos faction. So with a 56% win rate, quite high representation, 5% of all the lists are Chaos Demons, so increasing in popularity. Then we have the World Eaters getting their first month with a new codex, let's say for Arks of Omen, and we have a 53% win rate, so a nice win rate for the savage World Eaters. Also 5% quite high representation on the tabletop. And then we have Death Guard squarely at 50% win rate, a bit lower representation, only 3% of the list, but not, let's say, Death Guard concludingly not a D tier army, but rather in the middle. Then we have the Chaos Knights slightly dropping below the 50% win rate, also 3% of the list. And then at the very bottom of all the factions, we have the Chaos Space Marines and the Thousand Sons. Chaos Space Marines, 38% win rate. Thousand Sons, only 36% win rate. And look also at the representation. Only 2% of the list is Thousand Sons. Gone are the days of Nephilim where Thousand Sons were at above 50% win rate, let's say, and quite high representation. Really struggling in the Arks of Omen. So not super good balance and a bit mixed, let's say, for the Chaos factions, but still the Chaos Demons. Still, if you want to go competitive and you want to use Chaos right now, the Chaos Demons or the World Eaters seem to be the best, the strongest choices. Looking at some of the popular lists or winning or nice placing lists from larger tournaments for Death Guard, we have some example list here, quite interesting with no Plague Marines. So we have an Arks of Omen detachment, of course, with the elite slot as the compulsory from Inexorable Plague Company. So we have 2 Malignant Plague Casters. One of them has the Plague Skull of Clothila, and then 2 small units of Poxwalkers to hold some objectives. And then in the elite slots, we have 1 squad of Blightlord Terminators with all the special weapons: the Spewer, the Flamer, Combi Melta, Combi Plasma, a Flail, and Blight Launcher. And then we have 3 squads of 3 Death Shroud, 2 of them, 2 of the we have pathogens on 2 of the squads with a virulent fever and a corrosive filth. And then we have a trio of Virion, the Foul Blight Spawn with Stensvat's Relic and the Ferric Blight Contagion from the Inexorable. And then, interestingly enough, we have the Plague Surgeon with Fugaris Helm and Ars Contaminator. Of course, the Fugaris Helm extending his 6+ Feel No Pain for the Terminator. So in this heavy Terminator list, he might be pulling his own weight. And then we have the Tallyman without the Tollkeeper to get command points and +1 to hit. And then we have 3 mowers, 3 mower drones and 3 Plague Scrollers with Entropy Cannons and Slugger. So quite interesting list, and with no Plague Marines whatsoever in this list. Now for the Sons of Magnus, the Thousand Sons, it was not many lists that fared well. This was one example, and it's Arks of Omen detachment of Thousand Sons. We have the typical, it's a Cult of Duplicity, and we have the typical HQ trio of Ahriman, Exalted, the Sorcerer, and the Infernal Master. Then we have four smaller squad of Rubrics with Flamers, all of them, and the icons. Then we have a Contemptor with Volkites. We have a big squad of Scarab Terminators and some Chaos Spawn. And then we have in the Allied Demon Patrol with a Fate Schemer, the 10 Blue Horrors as the cheapest way to fill the patrol troops. Then we have 3 Flamers and 3 Screamers. Interesting to see the Screamers and the Fate Schemer, as I also made the analysis of the very fast Screamers in my previous video. But not many good results for Thousand Sons, but this is a mixed list, benefiting from some of the Chinch demons that are quite popular. Moving on to the Chaos Knights, as always, the popular lists for tournaments with Chaos Knights are really relying on War Dogs, and we seldom see the big knights. So the first list here, interestingly enough, not House Herpetrax. If you have been watching my videos with this meta analysis for Chaos, always for Chaos Knights, the winning list seem to be House Herpetrax. But here we have a House Vextrix, where we get the ability to reroll one of the hit roll and one wound roll when making the attacks. And in this list we have a lot of shooting War Dogs. We have in total four Brigands, 3 Executioners, and then we have 2+3 Stalkers, and we have 1 Carnivore as a Dreadblade to fill the detachment with auxiliary detachment Dreadblade. And then we have another War Dog heavy list, House Herpetrax, as always, to get the extra wounds here. We have 4 Executioners, 3 Brigands, and 3+3 Stalkers. So a lot of War Dogs popular, and we don't see the big knights in the list that are successful for Chaos Knights. For Chaos Space Marines, a couple of months ago with Nephilim, there was a lot of winning Chaos Space Marine lists. The Emperor's Children were very popular. Black Legions, mixed War Bearers. There was a lot of success and a lot of winning lists. But here I really had to search a lot to find a list that fared well. And it's here we have a Black Legion list. The only example here from a list that fared well. We have here, interestingly enough, taking the fast attack as the extra slot, the compulsory slot for the Arks of Omen. So we have Abaddon, a Dark Apostle, Master of Possession, and Sorcerer Terminator armor as the HQ. We have 2 small units of cultists. We have a Contemptor with multi-meltas. We have in the elite slot some rubrics with the flamers. We have and then we have in the fast attack we have 9 Chaos Bikers with a mark of Chinch. We have some Spawn. We have Raptors, and then we have Havocs. So quite interesting list with the Chaos Bikers. But as I said, not many lists with good results for the Chaos Space Marines in larger tournaments. Moving on to the Chaos Demons, really many lists that fared well, many top finishes, and the Chinch Chaos Demons are particularly popular, but we also see undivided and mixed variety lists. So there was a lot of lists to pick from. So just picked a few here for the flavor. So we have a Change Demon list with Bellacore, a Change Caster, and a Fate Schemer. Fate Schemer seems to be quite popular. We have some blue horrors for the troops, and then we have 2 exalted flamers, and as always, quite a lot of the flamer units. So here we have 554. We have the 3 screamers, 2 burning chariots, and 2 soul grinders in this list, and another change list with a change caster, the demon prince, and a fate schemer. Here we again have some blue horrors, and here we also have some pink horrors. Almost maximum number of flamers is a unit of 6, and then 2 units of 5 flamers. And here, interestingly enough, 3 units of 5 screamers and 3 burning chariots to complete this change list that fared well in some big tournaments. And then an example from undivided demons list with a bloodthirster, a lord of change, and a transweaver. Then we have some bloodletters, demonettes, nurglings, pink horrors, and then we have the fiends, the flamers, and the flesh hounds here. So quite interesting mixed all-around demon list. But Chinch, as also in the previous month, quite the popular selection for the Chaos Demons. And the World Eaters making an impact with their new codex, many top finishes and some interesting lists. Typically, we have Lord Invocatus, some Berserkers, some Rhinos to transport the Berserkers, and lots of 8-pound. So just one example list from World Eaters, but a lot of similar type of lists here. So we have here Lord Invocatus and Lord on a Juggernaut. We have 5 small units of Berserkers with the Eviscerator extra weapon, and 4 of them had the icon. And then we have three units of 4 8-pound, and then 3 units of the Exalted 8-pounds. And then we have the 3 lonely spawns for the Blood Tithe points, and then 2 Rhinos to transport the Berserkers, and with Lord Invocatus and this 8-pound, as we saw in my previous video about the 8-pound. With the pre-moves, you can probably, especially if you win turn 1, you can be in the face of your opponent very quickly and make their life difficult. And also the secondaries of the World Eaters allow them to score quite consistently on the secondaries. And then looking at some focusing on some of the enemy threat lists that are not chaos. Here we have Astra Militarum had many top finishing lists, and we have a similar makeout for the popular ones. So we have typically a command squad taking the relic banner that gives them an aura to ignore modifiers and also bypass feel no pain, and no modifiers to hit or to wound. So forget the miasma pestilence or hiding behind woods or something like this. The Astra Militarum infantry will not care. Also, Lord Solar, a nice anachronism with a knight on a horse, but he has some really nice auras to give rerolls to hit and wound. He can give a lot of orders. He can regain command points. He's quite also good in melee. And then typically also quite a lot of Kasrkins units with hotshot weapons. And here we have very good combos with the overcharged last cells for 1 command point. 6 is to wound, inflict 1 mortal wound in advance, in addition to the normal damage from hotshot weapons, and this again is capped at maximum 6 per phase. But they can also get the ingrained precision stratagem, so fives to hit, auto wound, and they not only auto wound, they also count as 6s as a modified wound rolls of 6, which trigger then the mortal wounds. And as a born soldiers stratagem, ability for the Astra Militarum, the 6 is to wound, 6 is to hit, auto wound, and then this also triggers the mortal wound strat. So a lot of buffs for this Kasrkin, And then also for, of course, rounding off Imperial Guard armies, we have a lot of battle tanks, Lehman Russes or Rogal Thorns. They are quite sturdy now, toughness 8, 2+ save, and yeah, they can do some good damage with their tank commanders giving them orders, etc. Here I'm looking at the damage output, the shooting damage output of a Kasrkin squad. So here I'm assuming a 10-man squad where one of the guys has a hotshot volley gun, the other one have hotshot las guns. The sergeant here has a hotshot las pistol. If we assume that they are firing at something at a 12-inch range, they will be rapid firing, so they will be getting 21 hot shots from this squad. This squad is only 100 points. And let's assume that Lord Solar have given them the ability to reroll all to hit and roll all to wound. And then we spend the 2 command points to get them auto wounding on 5s and then mortal wounds on 6s to wound. So already without any rerolls to hit, from 21 shots, we should get on average 7 auto wounds, 5s and 6s. This would automatically go to the 6 mortal wounds in addition. And then even assuming that we are attacking a toughness 8 target where we only are the Kasrkin are only wounding on a 6s, we would still get 12 successful wounds. These are basically the auto wounds and the 6s to wound. So, and with AP -2, if we assume that the enemy unit is saving on a 4+ save, we would still expect 6 wounds to go through not saved, and in addition the 6 mortal wounds from the strat. So even for example with a toughness 8 target with a 2+ save, 4+ invul, we will still be making 12 wounds. So you can see in the table below, for example, this Kasrkin squad shooting at something like guardsmen will be killing 22 of them. Shooting at intercessors, it will kill 8 of them. Some Blade Guard veterans, 4 will be killed. A Dreadnought will be destroyed, and even a Lehman Russ tank would lose 12 wounds. So this is so some very strong abilities. This combo of Kasrkin, Lord Solar, and the stratagems for the Astra Militarum makes them a very very high damage output unit combo. Reaching to the summary and final thoughts, we've had now in March a month more of Arks of Omen data. We see the Iron Hands, the Astra Militarum, the Dark Angels and Custodes as the biggest threats and highest win rates. The Chaos Daemons are right there on the top, the most successful Chaos faction, especially the Chinch Chaos Demons. The World Eaters make a splash entering the fray and getting a positive win rate. The Death Guard are still struggling, keeping in the middle, while we have the Chaos Knights dropping a bit, and Thousand Sons and Chaos Space Marine, the most struggling factions in the game. And as comparing to some of the months in the Lephilim data, we were almost getting there, where all factions were between 45 and 55% win rate. That Games Workshop seems to be working as a good target, but I think right now there doesn't seem to be a very good balance all round for Arks of Omen. But I don't know how much effort they will do now to balance until 10th edition comes and probably changes everything again. So this concludes the video. What do you think about the meta-analysis, and have you been participating in some major tournaments with Arks of Omen? Let me know your comments. And if you want to further support my effort, please visit my Patreon page, become a YouTube member, and you can also join the Discord channel, link in the description, where you can discuss more and ask questions in the forums and discuss with other Warhammer 40k fans. So with these words, GeneralJannis signing out. Stay safe out there, and bye-bye.